Buckle up, everyone, because we're about to go deep on a Champions League clash that's got all the makings of a classic David versus Goliath story. Arsenal taking on Dinamo Zagreb. And you know we love digging into the pre-match analysis, so I'm ready to unpack all the stats and tactical insights you've pulled together, especially with Arsenal looking so strong domestically. But, facing a Dinamo Zagreb side now led by a true legend-turned-manager, Fabio Cannavaro, talk about an intriguing matchup.
Absolutely, yeah. And especially for someone like you, always keeping a close eye on Arsenal's defensive performance, there's a real interesting contrast emerging here.
You're hitting the nail on the head.
It's like, remember last season? Rock solid at home. They were racking up clean sheets for fun.
Oh, absolutely. The Emirates was a fortress.
But lately, and even Arteta himself has pointed this out, some cracks are starting to show.
Yeah, even after that draw with Aston Villa, Arteta even went as far as to say that his backline was nowhere near the standards. And while they've been, pretty solid at home in the Champions League, haven't conceded from open play, you're right, there have been moments, definitely, across all competitions where they haven't looked quite as impenetrable.
Exactly. And that makes you wonder, right, how much of that is down to Saliba's injury? Because, trying to maintain that defensive consistency without a key player like him, especially against a team like Dinamo Zagreb, who, let's face it, are going to be desperate for an upset.
Oh, yeah, they have nothing to lose.
Exactly. But then again, you can't ignore the fact that Arsenal are undefeated at home in the Champions League this season and have, I think, the most home wins since last season. So that home advantage, it could be massive.
Oh, definitely a factor. And you mentioned tactical advantages, and that's what kind of got my mind going. Do you think, knowing that the defense maybe isn't as ironclad as it has been in the past, do you think Arsenal might lean even further into that home dominance and maybe, come out with a more aggressive pressing style at the Emirates, trying to overwhelm Dinamo from the start?
Could be. Definitely a possibility. And, having that home crowd behind them could give them that extra edge. Of course, it's riskier. You leave yourself a little bit more open at the back. But if they can just, blow Dynamo away early on.
Yeah, take the wind out of their sails.
Exactly. Now, talking about Dinamo Zagreb, their situation, it's a tough one right now, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
They're fighting for a knockout spot, coming off a string of bad results, which led to, what was it? A pretty surprising, almost out-of-the-blue appointment of Cannavaro.
Talk about a curveball. I can't argue with the pedigree bringing in a legend like Cannavaro, but he's so untested as a manager. Can he really turn it around for them, especially against a team, as strong as Arsenal?
That's the big question, isn't it? The million-dollar question. It's a gamble for sure, throwing him into the deep end like this. But, it's funny because his lack of experience as a manager, it might actually play to their advantage.
How so?
Well, teams might underestimate them. They might look at Dynamo and think, oh, new manager, bit of chaos, this is our chance. And plus, you can't discount that Cannavaro factor. He's a legend. His presence alone might give the players, I don't know, a boost. A bit of swagger.
Yeah, the underdog effect in full force. Plus, you mentioned English teams. Historically, Dynamo has never won an away match against an English side in the Champions League.
Oh,
ever.
That's a daunting record.
It is. But here's where things get interesting.
Yeah.
They've won their last 2 away Champions League matches. So it makes you wonder, have they actually turned a corner? Or are we reading too much into it?
Well, that's what's fascinating, isn't it? You were talking about tactical shifts. And this, to me, it seems like they've found a way to be more, more effective on the road. Maybe it's a change in formation. Maybe they've just found a newfound belief in themselves. Whatever it is, they're definitely a more, dangerous opponent than history suggests.
Oh, for sure. But let's face it. Let's talk about Arsenal's attacking threat. Saka's been on another level this season. It feels like every game he's involved in a goal. But the big news is, and, we have to address the elephant in the room here.
Yeah, I saw the team news.
He's out. He's out for this match.
That's a huge blow. Absolutely massive. There's no two ways about it.
But then you've got Martinelli waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
And his record when he scores, it's remarkable, isn't it?
Oh, it's phenomenal, yeah. 38 matches, I think, unbeaten when he finds the back of the net. So could this be the moment? Could this be his chance to really announce himself on the European stage?
Potentially. But, and this is, I'm a little hesitant here. replacing a player like Saka,
Yeah.
that's a huge ask for anyone. I mean, are we setting Martinelli up for failure here? Are we expecting too much?
It's a valid point. I get it. I
Right.
mean, no one can deny Saka's impact. But you look at Martinelli, he's got bags of talent. He's got that potential. I mean, I think the bigger question is, can he handle that pressure? Stepping into the spotlight, being the main man in a crucial Champions League tie.
Yeah, that's pressure cooker stuff. And speaking of players to watch, you highlighted Kulenovic from Dinamo.
Hmm.
And when you look at his away goal scoring record in the Champions League,
Mm-hmm.
it's impressive to say the least.
Oh, yeah. He's one to watch out for sure. And, I don't know if you caught this little stat, but one more goal, and he ties Dinamo's all-time scoring record. Talk about a chance to write your name in the history books.
Now that's a storyline. But can he do it? Can he do it against a, let's be honest, somewhat shaky Arsenal defense?
It'll be tough, that's for sure. But, nothing's impossible in football, is it? Speaking of stats that caught my eye, did you see that Arsenal, they've won their last 2 Champions League matches by at least 2 goals?
I did. 2-0, 4-1.
But they've never managed to string 3 wins together with that kind of margin.
So the question is, are we going to see Arsenal make history, or will Dinamo keep it close?
Yeah.
Maybe even pull off the upset.
I mean, all signs point to a captivating match, that's for sure. I mean, Arsenal might be the favorites on paper, but Dinamo, new manager, players like Kulenovic in form can't be overlooked.
No, definitely not. And, it's not just about the result, is it? It's about legacies. Can Arsenal reclaim that defensive dominance that they were known for?
Yeah.
And can Cannavaro, a legend in his own right, can he start building his managerial reputation with a monumental win?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. It's a night for potential heroes and potential heartbreaks,
Right. Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, I'm really intrigued to see how Arsenal's defense holds up against Dinamo's attack. I think that'll tell us a lot about, their chances going forward in this
I
tournament.
couldn't agree more.
So much to think about.
Yeah.
Arsenal's defense, Martinelli stepping up, Kulenovic gunning for the record books, Cannavaro's big debut. What are you most curious about? Let us know. This match could have massive implications for both these teams. Can't wait to see how it all unfolds.